Sajni here, and I welcome you to another video. So today I want to share with you the exact step-by-step process as to how I overcame my own anxiety and how this state of being an anxious person had become my own default state of being or an identity. And I had hold on to this identity for a very, very long time. And when I did, I was manifested a similar kind of situations, people, events in my life. And till the time I did not shift to the core vibration of a higher state of being, nothing changed for me. Before I begin, I want to quickly announce that you can book your free one-to-one consultation with me, and the program details are announced towards the end of the program. So with that, let's get into the video. So today I have been showing this chart, so if you haven't, you can have a look here. So this chart is from the book Force versus Power by David R. Hawkins, and this really helps us calibrate our state of being, our internal state of being, because our internal state of being is something that we overlook all the time. You know, how we feel, how we think, what we're thinking, we just on our external mode of autopilot mode of doing things, doing a job, doing our things externally, but we do not delve internally. But this chart will help you calibrate your state of being, your vibrant core state of being, so that you can then ascertain and tap into that and then change it to a higher vibration, or to change the state of being that you want. My state of being was a state of fear, a state of anger, a state of stress, a state of grief, a state of lot of turmoil, chaos within me. And this vibration was a state of being that had become an identity for me. So I was looking at myself. My self-image was a person. I viewed myself as a person, an anxious person, or a person with a lack of confidence, a person with a lack of worthiness. So I didn't view myself as a person being of a higher vibration, and that is what exactly I was holding on to. And this was because of, I've shared in my past videos as well, but I'll be sharing again that the idea is that the story that we tell ourselves is the vibration that we hold on to, the story in our head, the thoughts that roll on to. Actually, the thoughts lead to our emotional vibration. So the story I was telling myself was that I was blaming my father because I felt that he was holding on to my freedom when I growing up. So I grew up being a very fearful child, very timid child, very shy. It was a disciplined way of his living. He was a cop anyways. So basically he was something that he had to do for his family. That is, he was protective and he had rules of certain things. So, but as a child growing up, children do not like too much of restrictions and too much of binding. So I felt restricted, I felt timid, and therefore when I grew up later on, I started to blame my father for having that social anxiety, being a socially awkward child. And with that same emotion of anxiety and then anger towards my father and then being fearful, and then all of these emotions just kind of like in the dominant vibration. So I was rolling in this state of my being. I went on to my job. So because I was holding on to that identity, I was holding on to that level of being, is then I started to manifest things equal to that level. So the events that I went on to, relationship after relationship, or changing jobs, or whatever it is that happened externally, till the time I did not change my internal state of being, because my internal state of being was a being or identity of a person who is anxious, who has lack of confidence. And so that is exactly what I was seeing in my reality, or experiencing in my reality, because that was the lens. So the emotional state of being is the lens that we view with. So that was exactly I was manifesting outside. So that's exactly how we go about. We try to change the job, the partner, the house, but anything externally that we do, nothing affects till the time this internal state of being or the energy vibration is changed. And so here is the exact step that I followed. So obviously a series of events happened, because we are a product of a society. So our society demands us to be active and hyper and competitive and always hustling towards doing and having. So that was the grinding that we keep on doing, but we barely stop to reflect inwards and see our own internal state of being, of what is the internal state of being that we are operating or doing or having. So that was a key shift that happened, because when I lost my father, then I went into a deep shadow phase, when I started to question myself, started to question my story, started to question my beliefs, started to question my own state of being. And that was like a gift for me, or a kind of like a blessing for me, because I learned this lesson at the cost of my father's my parents passing away, but nonetheless it was a deep message that I had to take on, because it took me a lot of courage to be able to agree to that, to be able to come to a level of acceptance of the fact that this happened. This was a lesson that I need to take away. And that's why we all go through our journeys in life where we experience certain things. And especially when there are crises, or when you are experiencing some traumatic events or some chaos or some difficulties in your life, that is the moment in time. Rather than trying to bulldoze forward, our endeavor should be to stop and see the lessons, what we have to take away from there. Because till the time we don't pick up those lessons, it will come back to repeat again, because we will be operating again from the same state of being. Because if you do something externally with the same state of being, you're going to get back the same result. If you're going to keep operating from the state of anger, you will start to get more of anger. If you keep operating from the state of being of anxiousness, I kept having those kind of experiences. So when you start to shift that to a higher vibration, then is when we start changing our reality, or changing our experiences, changing our events, changing what comes into a manifestation. Because our internal world manifests into our external reality. Our internal state of being is what is important. So that is why when I started this journey 3 years ago, my state of being, my core state of being was of this lower vibration. Then when these events, crisis hit my life, crisis is like a turning point. And those turning points decide, at those points, how you respond at those points define how your life unfolds further. And that is the point I stopped and I started to now neutralize. Because then I started to dissolve those emotional baggage, started to let go of those resentments, started to understand the deeper meaning of life. And that is when you get to reasoning. Reasoning is basically started to deepen your understanding of what life really is. Because I was holding on to an energy, or a resentment, and anger is an energy I was holding on to, and I was blaming something outside of me, or blaming my father for something I was feeling. So that I was making myself powerless by being like a victim of something external. Whereas when I started to expand, then I started to understand that seek to understand rather than to be understood. So when you start to have a higher understanding of things, then I understood that my father was doing what he knew best for his family, right? He was being protective, he was doing out of love. So then it started to rain on me that these epiphanies started to come. When I started to cleanse myself, then I started to go into the high vibration of peace. I found more peace within myself, more joy within myself, more fulfillment within myself. And therefore I started to find the passion of what makes me alive, what makes me follow my dreams. And 3 years, consistently I have been meditating, I have been journaling, I have been reading. So a person who could hardly read one page, now I can read books after books after books, a book a week, right? And that is basically, I'm training myself, I'm cleansing myself, because I'm shifting my internal identity. I'm changing my identity from a person who is shy and timid and who lacks confidence, who is anxious, to a person now I wanted to hold a consciousness of a person who is of value, who provides value to your community, who transforms people's lives, who is spiritual, who has a higher vibrations. So that is exactly what I wanted to hone on. And when I listed down the things that I wanted to experience in my reality and started to embody that, then I started to dissolve that and then went into higher understanding of what is that I wanted to find, why in my brain, what is that story that I want to tell myself, what is the state of being that I wanted to hone on. So 2 steps really. One is neutralize, that is you dissolve your past or letting go. And the second step is then you go to acceptance, and then you start to change your meaning, or change basically the story that you tell yourself in your head. And when this happens, then your energy starts to expand. Then there is expansion, then there is growth, then there is space for more abundance to flow, more experiences to flow. And that is when the universe starts to cycle and churn. Otherwise, if you keep holding on, it's like holding on to your savings, or holding on to something, or event, or holding on to a person. So that's attachment. So when it's contracted energy. So when I loosened out and let go and let life follow its course, and I just had the intention in my head of what is the energy that I wanted. I felt that every day. How does Sajani 2.0 feel? What is the confidence? What is the happiness? What is joy? Embodied that. How does it feel to feel that every day? So I decided to churn my experiences, and that is how I could churn and become who I am today. A person who wants to be able to give value to the society, who wants to transform lives, who is confident. So with that, I conclude the video. I sincerely hope this video was helpful. So let's do a quick recap. with the same state of being, if you do something externally, it is never going to A, fulfill you, B, it's not going to be permanent. If you want permanent changes in your life, it has to begin from within. As within, so without. This is a key heritage principle that people defy, choose to ignore. But then life throws some events and crises, and then we understand, then we go deeper. But till the time we don't shift our inner being, our inner core being, whatever you're doing or whatever you have will never fulfill us. So therefore, first is to hone on to our inner being, change our vibrations here, get into a high states of being, and then we can hone on to what is it that we want to do, who do we want to become, what is the vibration that we want to hold, what is my passion, what is my purpose. Then it starts to get into our space, because there is no space for the information is everywhere, energy is everywhere. The energy that you're emitting is the energy that the vibrational energy that you surround yourself with. But if you're carrying an energy of chaos or energy of restlessness, anxiousness, that is the energy that you will pull in, because your emotions are a magnet that pulls that experience towards you. And that's why you have to be able to radiate the energy of whatever you want to hold. I hope you found this helpful. If you resonate with this, do not forget to hit like, and do leave me a comment of your takeaways, your experiences. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe and hit that little bell icon so that you'll be notified every time I put out a new video, right? So these are the same principles that I follow in my Mindset and Reality Revolution program. So if you're interested, you can sign up. The links are in my bio and in my Instagram bio as well. So I hope to see you there, and thank you so much for watching. Peace and namaste.